Yep, we're doing this. Like most other magical girl series, Winx Club has created many transformations over the years through its version of fairies. Unlike many other magical girl series, however, most transformations are specialized to different situations and environments, rather than simply becoming more and more powerful. Well, that's how it's supposed to be, kind of, but let's not go there right now. Now today, we're going to be looking through the main higher transformations of the series and ranking them from worst to best. Specifically thanks to the criteria used by Winx Club Dissected. Go check out his content, it's good. We're going to be judging transformations regarding the criteria of how they're earned, their designs, their transformation sequences, their signature song, or multiple songs in certain cases, and their spells and unique powers. Not all categories are weighted equally, but each informs the transformation as a whole. Now before we start, we're going to be excluding lower level transformations, power boosters, power variants, and sub-transformations. As such, we won't be ranking the base Magic Winx transformation, the Charmix power-up, the special Believix wings, Speedix, Zoomix, and Tracix, or the Gift of Destiny sub-transformations, Sofix and Lovix. Oh, we're also not going to be touching the Witch transformations, so no Bluemix, Disenchantix, or Dark Sirenix to be seen here. We're also going to be omitting Dreamix and Onirix from World of Winx, namely because given their lack of spells and unique powers, it's difficult to rank them alongside forms from the main series. And yes, it is enjoyable to make fun of the Ix suffix, but I actually really like it, and hating on it is low-key a nitpick. So let's just carry on to our ranking of from worst to best, the Winx Club transformations. God help us.
The time has come to enter the Legendarium world.
Magic Winx! Mythics!
Mythics debuted in the second half of Season 6, and like post-Season 4 transformations, has a specialized purpose. Or maybe post-Secret of the Lost Kingdom, I'm not sure where Believix stands on this. Anyway, in this case, Mythics allows the Winx to enter the Legendarium world, a dimension home to myths and fairy tales from which all magical creatures originate. As a result, Mythics utilizes the stereotypical wands you would expect from any fairy godmother to sport. But as interesting as this premise might sound, Mythics' biggest offense is just how dull it is all around. The dullest part of Mythics is how it's earned. You have to prove yourself before the ancestral wands, and I will let Aisha explain why this is all kinds of bullshit.
We have fought against every monster there is. I think we've proven something.
And how they prove their worth is just Bloom shooting a dark necklace Isa uses to amplify her powers for like 15 minutes. Wow. So gripping. Such noble. I mean, at least the wands are individualized to each girl conveniently enough. They probably should have had, like, generic base forms which transform to the personality of their wielders, but whatever. And yes, I'm still bitter Eldora got the 7th wand and did jack shit with it. You couldn't give it to Roxy, or, like, even the now alive but really should still be dead Daphne. Fine. The only thing about Mythics that stands out as not only good but great is its song, which is no surprise. Pretty much every Winx Club transformation song knocks it out of the park, but that alone cannot save a transformation, especially when the sequences are essentially just the Winx spinning, and spinning some more, a lot of spinning, and unnatural blinking.
Musa, Fairy of Music!
On top of the bland transformation sequences, the Mythics designs themselves are bland. The dresses are acceptable, but acceptable should not be the goal. They're essentially just prom dresses. I mean, at least the wings look unique and match each girl's power and personality, and Musa's shoes, weirdly enough, get my seal of approval. Honestly, since Season 6 was meant to be a more nostalgic season, they should have really pulled from the Magic Winx concept arts while designing Mythics. Musa's concept art could translate really well into a traditional fairy godmother outfit. And to really bottom things out, Mythics has the weakest array of spells on offer. Spells are just generic beams of energy and shields like usual, but Mythics doesn't even have any unique spells for each girl like some of the other forms to spice things up. And the names themselves are generic and very underwhelming.
Wrapping Flame! Bravery Flames! Evergreen Glow! Bright Star! Water Rising Ray!
No, I still can't tell if Aisha is saying water rising, or she just decided to invent the word waterizing. Also, Musa gets like no mythic spells, which certainly does not help when Bluemix gave her like 2 spells, one of which was only used once. So Yikes. Really, Mythics is at the bottom of the list just because of how bland and forgettable it is. It had the potential to take the traditional idea of a fairy and fuse it with the kick-ass kind of fairy Winx Club has given us into something on the levels of Enchantix, but instead we got...
We've got our new Mythics powers!
A few moments later.
This also gets compounded by the fact Mythics is the only transformation which only appears in the show in 3D, as it's only used in the Legendarium world, which, like the Infinite Ocean, is a realm used for the 3D gimmick. The closest you get to a 2D incarnation is through concept art, fan art, and this one glimpse of Bloom in the last episode on one of the Legendarium's pages. Which looks really nice, honestly. A little odd since her old ponytail is still present here when the finalized design has her hair down, but now who cares, it's Mythics.
If we stuck around a second more, we would have become fiction ourselves. Why didn't I lose my powers?
Your power comes from the inextinguishable dragon flame, the source of the magic universe.
Oh, Bluemix. I wanted to love you. I really did. You had the makings of becoming the next Enchantix, and I sincerely mean that. Again, debuting in the attemptedly nostalgic Season 6, Bluemix is a transformation born of the Dragon Flame, which Bloom divided up and shared with the other Winx after they lost their powers to the Legendarium. These sparks would ignite into the Bluemix transformations through, as Faragonda put it,
Good and brave actions worthy of a fairy.
and for the record, yes, this form is actually called Bluemix. It would be fine if the later seasons weren't already so Bloom-centric, but the designs are easily the best part of the form, and to certain people, myself included, even better than Enchantix. The outfits are distinct enough to stand apart from one another, yet work cohesively as a unit. But sadly, the outfits are all Bluemix has. The song is fine and has a nice melody, but the instrumentation, lyrics, and vocals really turn it into the weakest transformation song of the series, especially given the fact that there are no alternate verses or choruses, so it's just the same bland verse and chorus progression over and over. The sequences likewise feature the girls flying around the screen with none of the unique flair present in earlier transformation sequences like those of Magic Winx, Enchantix, and Believix. The spells are bland as well, as all Bluemix has on offer is the usual generic beams of energy and shields, and no unique spells for the girls. It's at least a little bit better than Mythics since some of the spells like Aisha's Morvix Cloud, Protection of Waves, and Water Bolt are at least an attempt to change things up a bit. But the brave and noble actions required to earn Bluemix are not brave or noble. Well, first off, the process is rushed in order to fit Mythics into the story later in the season. The first Enchantix in Season 3 was earned in its 6th episode, with the final Enchantix being earned 10 episodes later in episode 16. That is 11 episodes to give each girl some breathing room to shine, and the ways in which they earned Enchantix prove their courage and selflessness, escalating with each girl in terms of how grave the circumstances became. Bloom fucked that up a little bit, yeah, but you know what? We learned to accept that over a decade ago when the story actually called for it. And it actually wasn't that bad in the earlier seasons, not like now. The first Bluemix, meanwhile, is earned in episode 4 of Season 6, with the last one being earned just 2 episodes later. And yes, of course, it's Bloom. Whatever, it's fine. Only 3 episodes, and as a result, Flora and Bloom are the only ones to earn their Bluemix on their own. Musa earns hers alongside Tecna, and so does Aisha along with Stella. And because of the weird pacing issue, Flora, Stella, and Aisha wind up getting Bluemix within the same battle over an episode. Well, only because that's the last half of episode 4 and the first half of episode 5, which... Why? Just why? And with so little time for the girls to prove their worthiness to get Bluemix, we wind up getting some truly half-assed moments. Stella and Aisha get the form through doing a backflip. No, I'm not joking. Musa and Tecna get theirs by learning to work together. Okay. Flora gets hers by saving her younger sister Miele yet again, even though in this case Miele could handle herself. And Bloom gets hers by fighting a Hydra in a fire pit.
Dragon of Domino!
Okay, hers was kind of cool, admittedly, but the others are unacceptable. Honestly, out of all of the forms, Bluemix frustrates me the most with how amazing it could have been if it just tried. But ultimately, all we will remember Bluemix lovingly for are its designs, which, yes, are amazing, but it has nothing else to its stupid name, and as such, here lies Bluemix at number 8. Further proof Season 6 was just the worst.
Pieces of Bloom's dragon flame are in all of you, and special acts of courage will grant you the Bluemix power.
Thanks, I hate it.
See? You did it, Roxy. All you had to do was open your heart and believe in fairies.
Yes! 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 I got 2 free tacos!
The main transformation of Season 4, and the progenitor of about 1 billion sub-transformations and extra wings, Believix had a tough role to fill as the direct successor to Enchantix. There was never really a way for it to one-up the fan-favorite transformation, which perfectly captured the Winx, each proving their courage and selflessness, with amazing designs and sequences, and a legacy even Season 8 seems to enjoy leeching off of. More on that later. And so with Season 4 focusing on the Winx becoming adults and leaving Althea for their new mission, as well as to figure out what they want to do while also trying to fulfill their duties as guardian fairies, Believix is sort of specialized in that it's all about getting the people of Earth to believe in magic once again, and using that to draw its power. The execution is iffy, but I do commend the idea behind it. What Believix truly excels in are the transformation sequences, and especially the song. Oh, this is fire! The designs are a bit of a hit and miss case, but at least they're all unique, and while the wings are gigantic, I do generally like their designs. Tecna easily has the best Believix design. As kind of like Winx Club Dissected has observed, it looks like her magic Winx and Enchantix forms were put through a shredder and fused together into this masterpiece. That haircut is everything. Believix's biggest weakness is, ironically, its concept. Sometimes it feels like the Winx are using their powers to manipulate or force people into believing in magic, rather than having them naturally come to believe in it over time. And the spells are the definition of generic energy beams and shields. But I will give them this, they've got some damn iconic names.
Techno Shock!
Solar Storm!
Angel's Hurricane! Dragon Heart!
Fuck yes to all these names. And the way it's earned has to be the hokiest thing I've ever seen. Now don't get me wrong, I don't mind hokiness, I like me some cheesiness and sentimentality in my stories, filled with heart, but while in concept I'm fine with Roxy believing in the Winx to grant them Believix, she really only believes in them because otherwise she would die. And that'd be kinda interesting to see if Believix was actually really weak because Roxy didn't truly believe in the Winx, and then as she came to trust them more over time, Believix would grow stronger. But they don't do that. And sadly, these weaker aspects really do end up tanking Believix. It's a memorable form alright, but it sadly doesn't stand up to the others above it on this list.
Oh, I'm so happy you believed in us, Macy.
Bye, bitch.
It's not possible.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Now you're probably wondering why I put this meme of a transformation above Believix, to which I say, it's actually not that bad. Butterflicks is a nature-themed transformation right in time for the animal rescue-themed 7th season. I do kinda wish it was used specifically with the Stones of Memories for time traveling, cause, you know, the butterfly effect and get some more mileage out of Bluemix, but fine, I guess. Oh yeah, season 7 had time traveling, and no, it was not interesting, let's just forget about that. In concept, Butterflicks is solid, and the way it's earned, I feel, is acceptable. The only real issue I have with it is there's no goddamn way it's stronger than Bluemix. You know, the power born of the almighty, inextinguishable, godly dragon flame. But the show kinda gave up on that a long time ago, so who even cares? And the fact that Roxy doesn't earn it, despite her being with the Winx and caught up in the light and being the fucking fairy of animals, and also being confirmed to be the 7th Winx in season 4, and yet after that she's not, and now she's not even season 8. What? It's fine. The spells, likewise, are nothing special, but the unique spells each girl gets at least kinda help it stand out. Especially Aisha's.
Magical water hug! I ask for your help defeating nature's enemies.
Okay, yeah, it's a dumb name, but the girl makes a goddamn water spout. That is awesome. Fittingly, Butterflicks has the limitation in that it's not great with offensive magic, especially because it's unable to harm living things. This does, however, force the Winx to find creative workarounds and use their powers in ways outside of the usual generic blasting and shooting, which I do really appreciate, even if sometimes their helplessness is frustrating.
I could use my Butterflick special power to ask for help from other animals, but I can't see any.
The dance sequence is fucking unforgivable, but while people have complained about the uniform spins in the earlier portion, I actually don't mind them. If anything, I appreciate how slow and fluid these turns are, because Bluemix and especially 2D Sirenix's sequences had them just flailing around everywhere and looking plain horrific in the new Flash puppet animation. I especially love the fact Stella is the only one to turn the wrong way, and generally looks like she's fucking up the sequence and is just kind of owning it. Oh, I love my Sun and Moon girl. The designs, likewise, are a bit too busy for my liking, but I do love the bright colors, crystalline wings, and especially the hairstyles. If we're going to have the show be more geared for younger viewers, it might as well have the girls rock the bright colors while doing it. My personal favorites are Musa and Aisha. I just can't choose between them because they both look amazing with Butterflicks. I mean, just look at their hair and their wings. So Butterflicks is actually a pretty decent transformation, more so than most people like to give it credit for. Hence its location around the middle of the list. But fuck that dance.
Girls, nature has given you the Butterflicks power. Because you have proven yourselves the true defenders of the fairy animals.
Roxy! Fairy of animals!
Debuting in the second half of Season 7, Tinyx, like Sirenix and Mythics, is primarily used to access a special dimension, in this case the mini-worlds, microscopic realms meant to represent different ecosystem and environments, because, you know, animal and nature themed season. And I actually really love the concept of these mini-worlds and Tinyx being used to enter them, especially because there's no 3D animation present in this season, and so the 2D designs of each mini-world really get to shine. My favorite is the mini-world for Alphea's heart. It's so beautiful to look at. Now, there are problems, namely in the fact that the main villains Kalshara and Berphilius cannot enter the mini-worlds, and so the mini-worlds aren't really home to much conflict till the finale episodes, but that's not too bad. And even though Tinyx has generic shields and beams as usual, this time the names including the girls' homeworlds, each girl gets a unique spell with their bonded fairy animal. During Season 7, each Winx bonds with a unique fairy animal, and the personalities of the animals, their designs, and their dynamics with their respective Winx are actually kinda interesting and definitely cute. Even Bloom's unicorn Elos is low-key stuck up and a huge attention whore, and I live for it. And when the Winx use Tinyx, their fairy animals assume a larger form, which allows the Winx to ride them through the mini-worlds. A low-key Squonk got the best glow-up. So Tinyx essentially is the culmination of the Winx Club's bonds with their animals, which really helps it stand out in terms of powers. On top of that, the transformation sequence is quite unique in having the Winx pose like models, literally surrounded by diamonds, and pair this with the gorgeous song by none other than our goddess Elisa Rosselli. Oh hot damn, this is fucking iconic. The only true weakness of Tinyx is in its design, and sadly, it's kind of a big one. I love the wings and the hairstyles, even though for some reason the wings are incapable of flight. Okay then. But the outfits are basically just bearer versions of the Mythics prom dresses with some glitter and crystals thrown on for good measure. And it really looks like a mess. But everything else about Tinyx really helps it stand out as a unique transformation that perhaps if the designs were less that, it really could have shone like a diamond.
God damn it, Bart!
Girls, now it's our turn.
Let's go. We're cosmic swings. We can light up the sky. The power is cosmic. Yeah, we're cosmic swings.
Season 8 has seen a lot of mixed feelings from the fandom, but honestly, Cosmix is one of the definitely great elements. Because Season 8's whole theme is space, Cosmix as such is a star-themed transformation, basically meant to allow the Winx to travel quickly through the depths of space at high speeds and rekindle the cores of dying or dead stars. It might have only been given to the Winx rather than earned by them, but the circumstances of how it happened allow me to forgive that. The most obviously fire thing about Cosmix is the song.
We're cosmic swings when the night becomes dark. You'll see our spark. We are the cosmic swings.
It's fast, catchy, and the lyrics perfectly fit the transformation. It really does feel like a throwback to the feel of the original Magic Winx song. Oh, it's so good. The sequences are also quick, snappy, and to the point. My biggest gripe is that, again, they don't really show the girls' powers, but they do show their personalities off quite well. Cosmix actually has very few spells, but I feel its powers allow it to rank quite well in that category. The designs, as well, are pleasing, as the girls manage to stand out while also looking like a cohesive unit. My only real issue with the Cosmix designs is that they all share the same wings, but everything else more than makes up for it. There's not really that much that's special about Cosmix, but the fact that every part of it works well makes it the most solid transformation thus far. I may prefer Tinyx conceptually, but when it comes to execution, Cosmix slays.
Se accenderá contra la oscuridad. Resplenderá la luz en cosmic swings.
Your guardians have granted you a new fairy power, Harmonix. It will allow you to swim faster and use your powers freely in the ocean. The quest begins.
The first of the Nickelodeon-era transformations, Harmonix debuted in episode 6 of season 5, but only stuck around till episode 13. Its only real purpose was as a stepping stone before the Winx gained Cyrenix, and so out of all of the forms, it's low-key the most pointless in terms of its need. Especially considering the Winx were able to breathe and use their powers underwater freely just 2 seasons ago, yet suddenly they need Harmonix to do that. Okay. Likewise, Harmonix is just given to the Winx, and so it's lacking in criteria. Weirdly, it seemed like it was meant to be earned in a challenge also present in episode 6, but at some point in production that got changed.
I feel the nature's key inside me.
You have earned my boon, Nature's Key.
So who even knows? The challenge was also pointless anyway. But as much as I'm shitting on Harmonix, it shines brilliantly in every other category. The designs are gorgeous, with each girl except Tecna getting their own version of a mermaid tail, by which I mean like ponytail, you know, for hair, but you know, like a mermaid, not like an actual like mermaid tail. Oh, that would have been cool for Cyrenix. I'm getting ahead of myself. The Wings managed to capture the elegance of Enchantix at half the size. Not to mention, they actually start as part of the dresses during the transformation sequence, which I just love on an aesthetic level, yes. The sequences likewise are pretty to look at, as the movements make the Winx appear as though they're swimming rather than flailing around like 2D Cyrenix or Bluemix. The backgrounds are easily the best part of the sequences, as well as the effects. Only real issue is, again, the Winx aren't showcasing their powers through these sequences. The Harmonix song is great. It might not match up to Cyrenix, more on that in a little while, but the vocals by Elisa, as well as those harmonies, really help sell it as a powerful aquatic transformation. But the best part of Harmonix is its spells. No transformation before or since Harmonix has managed to capture the creativity and uniqueness of Harmonix's small and short-lived array of spells. The girls all have their basic attacks, but instead of them being differently colored energy beams, they're actually unique effects. Bloom gets a wave of fire, Stella gets a vortex of golden light, Flora gets a torrent of wind with some leaves, Musa gets a musical staff, Tecna gets a blast of actual numbers and code, and Aisha... well, Aisha's actually too cool for a beam. She gets this.
13th seal!
I don't know why it's called the 13th seal, but I fucking love it. On top of that, we get unique spells like Dragon's Embrace, X-Ray Vision, Shining Mirror, Mystic Wrap, and my personal favorite, Diapason. It's honestly tragic how spells never carry from one transformation to another, as it would have been so nice to see these spells continue on for the rest of the series, and to see new spells carry in the spirit of Harmonix. You're probably wondering why it's not at the number 2 spot, considering it shines so well in most of its categories, but it really is kind of that it lands flat in terms of concept and criteria that kind of holds it back. But that's what we have number 2 for.
You are Cyrenix fairies now. Enter the infinite ocean.
The main transformation of Season 5, Cyrenix, is another big fan favorite, primarily because of it having the best song of any transformation by far and away. It's got a great beat, the lyrics fit Cyrenix perfectly, Elisa's vocals are on point as always, and it's got the mystic underwater vibe Harmonix song had, and more. The only way that this can get better is, well, let's switch to the Italian version for just a moment. Oh mio Dio! So the song's great, and so is the concept. Cyrenix is actually built up as an ancient and dangerous transformation. Season 5 mentions the Cyrenix curse quite a lot, having actually been spawned by the ancestral witches. The origins of pretty much all evil. The destroyers of Domino and the predecessors of the Tricks. They creepy.
But the witches cast a spell on Cyrenix, and when I used its power to defend myself, it turned against me.
Cyrenix, likewise, is the only transformation earned through a quest, where each girl basically in some way proves herself or overcomes a personal obstacle on her home world. And so, while these two aspects aren't executed as well as I would like them to be, the concept alone gives Cyrenix a lot of extra points. The transformation sequences as well are full of energy. The 3D sequences are great, even despite different pairs sharing incredibly similar movements. And as much as I've described the 2D sequences as having the girls flail across the screen like ragdolls, I still love how fast-paced they are. And the fact they actually have the girls show off their powers. It's nice, you don't get to see that a lot. Not to mention, Musa is fucking coffee grinding. Yes, give me life! The designs are where I'm kinda iffy. I'm not a fan of the wing designs, especially the fact that they all have the same wings, but the outfits are sleek and colorful, looking like wetsuits. But I have to say I much prefer the more individualized Season 8 redesigns. Ironically enough, Daphne has the best Cyrenix design. She's not even in the club and arguably shouldn't even be alive, but damn does she rock those colors. And her hair is fabulous. So while Cyrenix might not be as great as it could have been, every area of it shines with promise. And it's so wrapped in mystery within the narrative that, honestly, it's far more compelling than Harmonix could ever be. But there is one transformation that, in both concept and execution, blows all these forms out of the water. I don't know if that's a pun when it comes to Harmonix and Cyrenix, but we're gonna go with it anyway. Okay, number 1.
Leave me here. No, never! What's happening?
And surprising no one, Enchantix continues to reign supreme. There really is no competition. Enchantix is amazing in every single category. The designs are unique to each girl and all gorgeous, showing how much they've grown over the years. The sequences, likewise, are unique and take their time to show the girls' powers and personalities. Both the song from the TV series, as well as the song from the first movie, The Secret of the Lost Kingdom, are phenomenal. And how each girl earns her Enchantix really does define who she is and how strong she is. Even Bloom, who told the rules to basically go fuck themselves, is sure to look like a fucking homicidal badass. And to be fair, it was after Valtor basically ruined her life and took most of what she loved, so you go girl, murder them all. And while Enchantix is no exception to the collection of kinda generic spells, it at least was able to add in enough variety and truly unique spells here and there to solidify its top spot. And that's not even taking into account the fairy dust, which allowed the girls to miniaturize and break dark spells. The fairy dust even got its own sequence, and might I say, I love each one. Not sure what the hell Aisha is drawing here, but I stan. So yeah, Enchantix. it reigns supreme. I'm kinda iffy on the Season 8 application of it in terms of story, but I do at least kind of appreciate the redesigns and giving it a breath of fresh air and making newer fans more interested to look back on Enchantix. But us fans shall never forget.
It's about time! Were you afraid to try out your wings? Well, they are still brand new.
Can you feel the awesome power they possess?
Power and style. Now that's what I call cool fairy fashion.
While it may be fun to crack jokes about all the transformations ending in Ix, and how every form is somehow stronger than the one that came before it,
This year, your goal is to achieve final transformation.
The following Thursday,
You must try to acquire Cyrenix.
Great. Just when I thought we were done.
Bitch, me too! The fuck?
we gotta give Winx Club credit. All the forms are at least able to stand on their own apart from other magical girl shows, and redefine how we conventionally view fairies. Not to mention nearly all of the songs for these forms are great, if not amazing, and truly, that is what matters most. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, then be sure to not only check out my other videos, Winx and otherwise, but to also subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications, because YouTube hates creators. I'm trying to appeal to the algorithm, can you tell? I'm sorry fam, I just want to be able to eat. If you would like to further support the channel, then please consider pledging your support over on Patreon. It's been kind of hard to keep up with rewards on my schedule, but any kind of support, even if you're unable to become a patron, is much appreciated. Also, fair warning, if you pledge to join the private Asshole Parade Discord server, the Patreon bot is an asshole, so if you aren't automatically invited, please message me privately and I will get back to you with an invite link and then manually assign your role as quick as I possibly can. You can also check out the synopsis and first chapter of my work in progress book, Diseneribus from the Ashes, in the description below. I am currently going through one last round of revisions as I save up to commission my book cover, so keep in mind that everything that you read is subject to change. If you have been interested and confused by the amount of time and delays that have happened, I cannot apologize enough, but the publishing process is incredibly overwhelming at times, and I want to make sure that I get this right, so any form of support that you can show to my or my projects means the world to me, and your patience is much appreciated. I'm the Unicorn of War, and this has been a shit show.
To save Lumenia, you will need a new power.
Oh, Lord. Again. A fucking again. Nothing new, nothing changed, same old shit. Same old fucking shit.